This is an overview video of my fish room. This is a production area. This is one of the few tanks with substrate in it. Most all of the tanks have sponge filters of one variant or another. There is a grand total of one tank heater in this room because I choose to heat the air rather than the water and circulate the air properly. In my experience, that's a lot more reliable, consistent, and inexpensive than heating the water. I have several other videos online, about 67 of them actually, showing different species that are fish specific and the pretty tanks that I have in the house. These tanks are not pretty, I'll tell you that now. You'll also see various debris in this video. That's part of the servicing of this room, part of what I use basically every day. While I could pick it up, take it out of the room for the video, I'd probably have to bring it back in and put it right back where it was. This is a working fish room. It's a production area. It's for growing out of fish. It's for breeding fish. It's for raising fry. That's all it's for. Most of this room is on an automatic water changer system. About 80% of the tanks are. I'm going to show the heating system for the room. I'm going to show the air exchanger, the air source, some of the plumbing, just to get a feel of my version of doing things. Again, what works for me may not work for you, but to each his own, and everyone has ideas on how they can do that better, me included, which is why it changes every day. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you've seen some of the other videos on my channel. Most of the videos are open as far as comments go. Follow the golden rule, please. And I'd love to hear from you. Let's get started. You're going to see a lot of debris, a lot of things that I use every day in the servicing, the drain hoses and specimen containers, towels, things like that. It's not going to be pretty, so if you don't like that, turn it off now. Let's get started. This is a rack of 10 20 highs for fry grow out. There are 3 2.5 gallons, a 5 gallon on top there. These tanks are a couple of sumps, formerly from saltwater usage. Top one's about 90 gallons, bottom one's about 120. A couple of tanks down below. This is the back side of that same rack, or maybe the front side of the back rack. Another 10 20 gallon highs. This time there's 3 5 gallons, a 2.5 gallon on top. This is one side of an 8-foot rack with 20 gallon highs and 20 gallon longs. This tank is a 5-foot 120. And below these tanks there are what are called IBC containers, intermediate beverage container. Coca-Cola and Pepsi make soda syrup. They put them in this, send these to the bottlers. They're used one time. They are of course food grade. The original capacity is listed as 275 gallons. I've cut the tops off, and of course they can't fill all the way, so they hold about 250 gallons. Most of this room, or about 80% of it, is on an automatic water changer system. You can see the drain system for these 2 vats and the fill system. There are a total of 4 of those vats. There's the other side of that 8-foot rack with 20 gallon longs down below, 20 gallon highs up above. This is a permanently divided with a flow-through divider, 240 gallon 8-foot long tank, 2x2 is the end dimension. There are 7 20 gallon longs and an empty space for a 6-foot tank. Just waiting on one of those, hopefully 100 long or 135, something like that. These are 29 gallons. Looking at, of course, the end pane on these. Set up like most high capacity fish rooms. Set up that way to get more tanks per linear foot of aisle. There's a 150 down below with frontoses. Brine shrimp hatchery, 15-gallon capacity. You can tell by the very different colors of those, the different stages of hatching. The green one was just put in today. The brine shrimp eggs were just put in today. The others are 24 hours old on the end and 48 hours old in the middle. One quick rant. This rather heavy box, certainly not here for decoration, that is an air exchanger system set up for 3,000 square feet. This room is about 750 square feet. As you can see, it vents directly to the outside. There are 4 openings on this device. The top 2 bring air in and send air out. And the bottom ones bring air in and send air out within the room. An air exchanger is about 80% efficient. What it does, the best explanation I've heard, is it salvages the temperature from the air inside before it vents it to the outside. The system is set up on a humidistat, and because of the size of this unit, it consumes 1,000 watts, by the way. It will do about 5% humidity reduction in less than 5 minutes in this room. So you can see the oversizing of it is working. It does not run very long. This rack is very difficult to video because of the tight quarters. There's a 100-gallon up top. I'm sorry, it's actually a 135. But right now it's only got about 100 gallons worth of water in it. This is an 8-foot 220, houses frontoses. There is a 40-gallon breeder and a 100-gallon, I think it's a 120 actually down below. Switching over, the ugliest side of this rack, there are 6 120-gallon tanks, acrylic, on this rack. Each one is divided into 6 sections, has flow-through dividers. Each of those sections has a filling valve on it, and there is one central drain valve for each of these 8-foot sections. The bottom one is not operable yet. It is circulating in terms of water in, water out, but I do not have air set up on it yet. This end cap rack has a 40-gallon below, which also is not set up yet. This is a 90-gallon extra tall, 40-gallon long. These top 2 tanks are set up on the automatic water changer system. Around the corner you will see the other side. This rack holds a grand total of 720 gallons. Every one of the 36 compartments is set up on the automatic water changer. This is one of only 3 wooden racks in the room, scheduled for replacement this year. When I go to the convention, I'll go to Material Handling Exchange in Indianapolis and pick up metal racks to match the rest of this room. There is on this side a 55, a 40, and a 40. 40 on the end, a very peculiar 100-gallon tank, which is also visible from the other side. Fairly much the same system on the other. Stomatopea Mariae, Pindu, there, 55, 40, 40, another 40. This rack holds a 135. 6-foot 180, and considerable debris down below, which we'll try not to look at very long. Heating system in this room, very ample. It is a redundant system for safety. I will not risk a malfunction with one of these heaters causing the loss of the entire collection. This is an unvented 30,000 BTU wall heater. This is necessary to push the air away from it. As you can see, this runs off of a 350-gallon tank. It's actually set up for the house. With redundancy in mind, by the way, there's part of the water change system. With redundancy in mind, the primary heater for this room, the one that's used most of the time, the one that's set about 2 degrees higher, this is a 50,000 BTU greenhouse heater. It's run off of a separate 500-gallon propane tank. This is a vented system, somewhere in the 83% efficiency range. And being as these are tropical fish, that is the one thing that can kill these fish faster than anything, including lack of oxygen. Again, redundant systems on everything. Speaking of air, this is the air system for the room. That's a 1/8 gassed rotary blower in the middle. That is the heat. That is the primary air that's connected all the time for the room. Beside that, there is a slightly less efficient, same cubic feet per minute rotary blower, all plumbed up, ready to go in case the gas has a problem. And last but not least, a diaphragm pump, which is very silent, will not power this room, but it's excellent for emergency use. That 1/8 gassed blower powers, I believe it's about 155 air outlets in this room. Some tanks, like this one, have multiple sponge filters in them. My sponge filters, in case you've been glaring at those, possibly they hurt your eyes. Yes, I know they're ugly. That is simply a piece of outdoor upholstery foam, silicone to a ceramic tile, PVC lift tube with an elbow and an air line. Air rises, creating venturi action, carries water with it, brings new water in through the sponge filter. Very simple system, very, very, very cheap. And I too have heard the rumors that you can't use upholstery foam because it's got those nasty mildew sides on it. I don't know that that's true. I soaked them for about 1 day in an outdoor tub prior to bringing them into a fish room. The sponge filter walls on many of the tanks are also set up that way. Same material, thinner foam, all with good results. Again, what works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. And I can tell you in many cases, ideas that I've stolen and seen working for other people does not work for me. So to each his own. This is my man cave. For better or for worse, I enjoy it. Produces a ton of baby fish. Got about 72 species in the room. And nearly every day I can find spawns of fish. And about once every week or two I find new spawns, that is, fish that have never spawned before. And if you choose to comment, I hope you're kind. And if you're not, please let me see your fish room so I can respond in kind. Have a nice day.